this is.
Whatever this is, yeah, we'll eventually get a working name for it at some point. I mean, somebody suggested Fark stream. I mean, okay.
I am just I'm paying attention. I'm trying to make sure all these stories clean off some of these pop-ups.
Yeah, take your time because and all the ads for whatever the weird stuff is that they're trying to advertise during the pandemic.
Right.
I'm seeing
now I do not rock a ad blocker because I'm like, I realize it's like I got to pay for this one way or another, so I'm totally cool on that.
Yeah. I'm noticing a weird shift in advertising. So I was watching pretty much exclusively CNN, and I don't watch it because it drives me insane. So I keep the sound off.
Right.
And I turned it up for stuff like like when Cuomo came on today. I listened to him. He had a good rant today. And then I started watching on the Battlestar Galactica marathon that ended this morning at about 8:00. And it was weird switching back and forth between the two because like CNN and Sci-Fi you'd think would have vastly different advertisers, but they don't. In fact, one way you can tell that the advertising industry is screwed is looking at the number of ad council ads that are running right now.
Oh yeah, like just those. That is a bad sign. We have full on capacity and we have no buyers. That's basically what
so
it
ad
is.
council, whenever you see like brought to you by the ad council, means nobody bought that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, and they donate the space for I forget what the deal is. I looked into this at one point, but yeah, when you start seeing those show up, it's like, oh man. But the other ones, it's like the only commercial anybody wants to run is our company cares about you during the pandemic. Well,
yeah, man.
Okay. It's like I really need Bed Bath and Beyond to weigh in on this right now. It's like I really want to know.
Oh, I'm getting companies that I'm like, didn't I get off that list forever ago? Oh,
yeah.
you've got some tips on coronavirus.
We're
Awesome.
doing during the pandemic. I don't care. You're doing the same thing we all are, staying inside, not touching each other's faces. Yeah. The usual.
Hey, who do we have? Bathia 1795 says, hi you down. Hey to you. Hope you're having a great night tonight. Tonight.
Streaming on the face page.
I'm not usually a draft person. Like I wouldn't get geeked up for it, but I am tonight. It feels like something's going on. Something I can participate in.
Yeah, so I didn't cover it actually, but we could do this as the pre-one because this wasn't the most important thing going on, but I sent it to you where apparently we did say we were going to talk about it, and this is the warm-up so we might as well, but the only reason why this is of superb interest to those of us in Kentucky is because we're supposed to be rooting for the Cincinnati Bengals, and most of the state gave up on them a long time ago because they haven't been good forever.
I'm new to the state, so I have a little hope I can jump on that bandwagon.
Well, it's actually so bad that over the last 20 or 30 years, everybody's jumped on other bandwagons. So if you go to watch football, you're going to see a crap ton of Steelers fans, and then a decent split of Indianapolis and Nashville because that's where we're close to. But at any rate, so Cincinnati's been terrible forever. They somehow got the number one draft pick, and it turns out that the number one draft pick, actually consensus, is this quarterback who plays for which team was it, Dylan?
He played for LSU.
Yeah, and he's good. Like he's really good,
and he's got the attitude you want. Like as soon as they won the national championship, he was just rocking a cigar, walking around like a baller.
Pretty much.
It was great.
And 538 did a stat analysis of because sometimes the eternal question was Scottie Pippen worth a damn? Back in the 90s, and it turns out when he wasn't playing with Michael Jordan, he wasn't worth a damn. But Jordan swears, and I mean, it certainly looks to me anyway that without Pippen, he couldn't have done anything.
Oh no, nobody does it on their own. Pippen, I love watching that documentary. In fact, I got to jump in on that again.
That was a good one. But sometimes guys look good, but they really aren't. Matt Castle springs to mind. He was the backup under Tom Brady. And I mean, it wasn't like he was bad. He was a pro quarterback, but he ended up having to play a season because Tom Brady either got hurt or got caught with balls or something or other. I forget what the deal was. He did great, but that's because the Patriots are a good team. So you could just plug in some rando from the crowd and make a pretty good run at it. And the Patriots did something really funny at the end of that run. They signed him to a maximum league contract.
Right.
And then and everybody wanted him because there's always a quarterback shortage. And then he ended up over at Kansas City where he went on to do nothing. So that's how it goes. So sometimes they're not worth the damn. Well, it turns out statistically, this guy from LSU is the real deal. Like, it looks like he's a legit like contender, like potentially franchise guy.
Except for his hand size, apparently.
Yeah,
that's the only thing. People are like, his hand size not good enough. But I don't know, it could be. But it is funny how amazing how pumped you can be for somebody leading up to it, and then one season in, you're like Joey Football, or Manziel.
Yeah, Manziel,
Johnny.
exactly,
sorry,
yeah.
Johnny.
Yeah, or RG3 was the same way. I mean, he's still good. But
which Manziel could have been good, but he decided partying was much more of an awesome thing.
Yeah, me too, actually. We have that in common. That's really interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, you get your stories in. You get that done.
Oh, I'm going to go for it. Heather started drinking gin like half an hour ago, so I'm behind. I got to catch up. She gave up. It's been a long week, and like about 4 o'clock rolled around, and she was like, screw it, I'm out. Anyway, to finish the football story, though, there was a weird rumor floating around, and I mean, they could have made this up, but it's detailed enough to where I'm like, yeah, I'll go for it. Apparently, the Dolphins are like super excited, and they're trying to wrangle away, and I forget how this works exactly, but they've got a 3rd-round pick, and they're trying to get a 5th-round pick from somebody else. I forget who it is, but anyway, they're trying to trade Cincinnati a 3rd and a 5th-round pick for the 1st-round pick. The problem is, if you've got a crappy quarterback, you can't win games. So,
can you imagine their ticket sales if they gave that pick away?
I mean, they suck anyway.
Well, so no, I know, but you're going to get a bump. You are going to get a bump. Those stands will be filled initially. I think so.
Oh, you meant the other way around.
Yeah, the other way around. It's going to be
I thought you meant the bump that Cincinnati would get for trading the first.
No,
that would be the bump that goes that way. It
will be a bump in the other way. Somebody brought up a good comment here. Gene Views M. Oh, man, a movie about the crash and burn of Johnny football is overdue. And I couldn't agree more.
Fire Festival.
You know what I would call it? I would just title it Shit Show. Yeah. That's what I title it, and you're going to cover everything. Yeah. But that would be awesome.
Smoking crater of a disaster. That's a good one.
I feel bad in a way, but then it's all self-inflicted, so I don't so much.
It is, yeah, it is.
It would be Varsity Blues on meth. Yes, that's very true. Very
that's
true.
A good one. I like that. Yeah, so we'll see what happens tonight. I don't know what's going to happen because, I mean, it's the reason why everybody around here floated away from Bengals fandom is basically because some teams suck for a while and they come back, and the NFL is actually designed so if your team's crappy right now, it'll be good in 10 years.
Right.
Unless your ownership is completely incompetent. And guess what? The Bengals ownership is completely incompetent. So, yeah, we've got that to rely on. So would they trade away a 1st-round draft pick? You bet your ass they would. I wouldn't be shocked at all. Just waiting for it.
It's funny, even though they have the potential to get Burrow, the real story this year is going to be the Bucs. The Bucs games. I mean, can you believe that?
They got Gronkowski who played 2 games before he pulls his hamstring. That's what he does.
I love his personality, though, is just so fun.
He's perfect for Florida. He's like,
yeah. How did he not end up?
Florida man.
Well, he's been down there for like his Super Bowl parties. Like I was saying, he is just a fun guy. You know what he is? He's like the white version of Snoop Dogg. Everyone wants to hang around him and be with him, party with him.
Yeah,
that's what he is.
Totally. Yeah, he's not very smart though. But he could play football 2 games a year. Does pretty well.
Unspeakable username says too drunk for Canadian football. That's that was Manziel. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, right. Which is saying a lot.
I like that.
I've been watching a lot of. Yeah, it's fun. I've been watching a lot of Trailer Park Boys recently, so I've got that Canadian feel going on. It's just it's a great one.
I'm all caught up on Letterkenny unless they dropped another season when I wasn't looking, and I feel like they just film that whenever they feel like it.
I got to get back into that. They had a cool style.
Just start watching the last season because you don't need continuity for it. It's fine. Just in fact, when we first started watching it, we got to like episode 4 or 5 of the first season. And I was hanging out with my wife's sister and her husband, and he accidentally turned it on to watch another episode. Got halfway through it before he realized he jumped to season 5 by accident, and he couldn't tell.
That's continuity right there.
Yeah,
like people must not be changing weight too much. The writing must stay similar.
Yeah, the production values got better. Like the writing tightened up. Somebody in the cinematography department really likes slow motion cuts, so they added a bunch of those. And the first season seems like a bunch of dudes doing, like us, like doing a YouTube stream or something. Yeah, but by season 5, you can tell, like, okay, they've spent some money on production value.
Right. Well, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was that way. when they first started out, it was like I don't know if it was single camera, but it was basically like that. Yeah, it was basically just some dudes making their show work, and until they got it, and now it's up there.
Yeah.
Who do we have here? Drew's Face is brought to you by Copenhagen Snuff. Copenhagen Snuff. If you're several, I don't know. That was a long one.
Yeah, I tried it once. It didn't work. They even have these like, because man, I tell you what, you go to like the Netherlands or like Denmark or whatever, and they have all this stuff that they eat where they consume constantly that's just terrible, including the little like they've got these little like Tide Pod sized pouches of chewing tobacco, which they think makes it safer, but yeah, whatever.
Really?
Well, it doesn't. I mean, there's no way. It's still the same crap.
I never did the chewing. I couldn't.
I tried it. It just burns and tastes awful. And then they laugh because they think it's hilarious. Then they got that crappy salt licorice candy. I don't even know what that's called. If you go there, you're guaranteed to get it because they give it to everybody who's not from there because they're jerks.
Like, this is just going to be fun. Let's see what happens.
They love it. They're like, watch this. They're going to hate this. Ha ha ha.
I feel like once you get over the hump on chewing tobacco, it's like it's got to be awesome because it's one of the grosser things you can ever see taking place. The payoff has to be massive.
Well, that's the thing. That's how you know how addictive it is.
Right. I mean, that's a good sign. Like it's not like you're selling them on, okay, you're going to spit this thing out. You're going to have a brown sludge and you'll carry around a clear white bottle and spit in it. And it'll be awesome.
Let's do this. I'm in. And you can stop anytime you want, right?
Right.
What do you mean no?
No, you can't.
What do you mean no?
It's kind of like meth. It's like if you're just going off of the results of meth, nobody tries it. So it's got to be awesome.
I saw a comedian once say it was like nicotine addiction is like the worst addiction.
Yes. Yeah. That goes for anyone who's like any kind of drug. They're like, nicotine, not a thing that you want to have. So I'm cool not having that. Yeah. There's nothing grosser than chewing tobacco, they say in there. Really? Can you imagine?
Unless there's a drug that makes you just poop all the time, because if that existed, that would be a close second. But since it doesn't, chewing tobacco wins.
I hear the opiates, they make you not poop. Like
really?
You become a cannon. Like just a cannon that never fires off. Just packing you in.
That's unpleasant.
Can you imagine being a dentist in Kentucky?
You'd be busy.
This is the only place they've ever asked me if I chewed tobacco. I felt a little offended, and then I realized maybe that's just a question they ask all the time.
Yeah, it's because there's enough of it.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about all the smokers we have. It's like 35% of the state smoke. I don't know why, because I mean it's not great, but
I wonder. We must have less taxes or something.
No, that's true. They are cheaper here.
Yeah. Let's see. Cocaine cut with baby laxative turns your ass into a waterfall.
That's almost a really good tagline.
Jeez.
Like if that was a product you could buy at Walmart, that's
oh my gosh.
Turns your ass into a waterfall. Well, all right. That's kind of what I'm going for.
Well, now I'm in. Now you've given me some reasons to jump in on this.
Let's get this party started.
Awesome, man. Speaking of which, you ready for some news items?
Yeah, let's roll it. I think I'm playing.
All right, everyone, we're going to jump in, make your comments. We'll take a look at those, but we're going to, the music will let you know that we're swapping over if I find the right one. Let's see.
It's in there somewhere.
Here we go. Oh, there it is.
That is way too impressive.
And then I'll give us a swoosh.
All right, whoosh. There we go.
All right. We're gonna.
Yesterday we were talking about that finding in Santa Clara County where they said they did kind of a test that wasn't exactly random, but an absurd percentage of people tested positive for antibodies. Well, New York decided that, well, hell, let's just do that ourselves, right?
Right.
So they went for it, and Andrew Cuomo today on his daily thing rolled this one out there. I actually turned the sound up for it because I was like, what's he saying? Says that they did the same thing in New York. There's a little bit in Long Island, a little bit in Manhattan area, a little bit upstate. They got 3,000 tests. They didn't say what the tests were, so I don't know how the antibody test works. I thought it was a blood test, but anyway, whatever. Let's just assume this is all real because it probably is.
Right.
They tested 3,000 people at random, and we'll talk about it how it's not exactly random. And 13.9% had antibodies, that's absurdly high.
Now, I saw this story and I kind of wanted to get your feelings on it because I just wasn't sure. Does this mean that some people will be safer than we thought, that there's a certain amount of the public that this is just not going to bother.
Right. So, well, there's a number of possibilities here. We'll go through them all. So the first one is maybe the test sucks. But we don't know. But that you got to leave that one out there because that's entirely possible.
Right.
And I'm also, by the way, I'm not saying that this isn't accurate. And I'll tell there's a sort of a good follow up at the end, but let's go through one by one. So maybe the test sucks. Okay, sure. They also weren't exactly random with where they went. Like they went to places that were easy to get to. So they kind of skip places like, like the inner Bronx and, which is probably it up with hipsters too at this point. But at any rate, not a lot of minorities got tested. So that's obviously not a random sampling there. They also sampled people that were coming out of grocery stores. So you're going to miss people like my parents who've been inside for 2 months. They're not going anywhere. So you're not getting a bunch of 70-year-olds there. So like, who the hell knows? So it's not exactly a random test, still high. Like even when you account for all of that stuff, unless the test is completely blown, it's still high. So what does this probably mean? Well, one of the things it means is that we have known for a while that there are a lot of people who are asymptomatic in the beginning, and there's a lot of indication that some people stay asymptomatic the entire time. There's also been recently, we were talking about the articles about where they found that the first COVID cases in California were almost a month earlier than they thought. And of course, you find a couple of those guys, there's got to be community spread. The only numbers to look at, and I'm waiting for these to come out because these are going to be the ones that will prove it one way or the other, is people have been looking at the number of deaths per day. Because, for example, in New York City, deaths at home per day on a normal day is like 25, and lately it's been 250. Well, what changed? Well, there's the deadly pandemic going on. So you're like, and I don't think, that doesn't mean 200 more people are having strokes or whatever at home. But what it does mean is that if that data sort of starts ramping back in early February, we're going to start having a bigger picture of what happened. And basically this strongly indicates that it's been around longer than we thought.
Yeah. It will be one thing on this testing that I thought would be interesting is if you were able to do the same test in a state that hasn't seen as much of an end impact, like with deaths, just to see if it's still out there in a place like, I don't know about Wyoming, but let's go with that. Minnesota that would probably be a good one to try to do. So
yeah, they're having the least amount of trouble up there for whatever reason, and it's just odd because it's not like it's not like there's nobody lives there. They got at least one or two gigantic cities.
Yeah. Unless maybe they're not sociable. Maybe they don't.
Well, that could be the case. I live near it. They're not real huggy people, that's for sure. They're Norse. They're descended from the Swedes and the Norwegians. So
love it.
They're kind of weird, but But so what also was interesting about this too is I didn't slot this one in there because I just now remembered that it was a thing and didn't record it at the time. But do you recall about a month ago? And I don't think we talked about it on the stream maybe ever, but I definitely put it up on Fark. That there were a couple of studies that were looking at blood type to see whether or not blood type impacted.
Right. You and I are both what? Is it O negative or O positive?
I'm O negative.
I think I'm O negative. What's the best one? Is O positive or
O negative is the best one.
All right.
7% of the population, I think. O negative is like 33%.
I think
O positive is 33.
I think I'm O positive.
Yeah. I'm not sure. But anyway.
I'm pretty awesome, just not super awesome.
Yeah, so the blood type thing came up because remind me, is it China or is it Japan? I think it's China that has the big fixation on blood types like horoscopes.
Ooh, I don't know.
We'll have to Google that.
China, that is interesting. Anyone know that? Who's big on? Who
knows which country it is? Is it China or Japan?
On the blood. I'm gonna say Japan. I haven't heard it as much in China.
Yeah, because you'd think it would be all over the place. Well, one of them's got to deal with it, so that's kind of why they're looking at it. Well, interestingly, Yale, in a pre-published article, which means it has not been peer-reviewed yet, but it was published in the Lancet, premiered it, basically replicated the study, which will be fascinating if it gets peer-reviewed and stays. There you go. Says Japanese video games are blood type thing. So that's probably something. But anyway, yeah, so Yale replicated it. And what it basically shows is that, and again, we'll see if it stands up, but it said that people who are type O don't experience as bad of symptoms as people who are type A.
We're pretty awesome. We're very special. We're going to be the ones who have to make this economy work. We'll be the ones. We'll be the worker bees. We'll do it for you horrible blood types out there.
Yeah, there you go. Google says Japan, according to Genevieve.
Okay. Well, that's the more you know. We do have Lofty Marlin says, I'm 70 and went shopping at Kroger, but I've been shopping on the internet and picking everything up. It's great. They bring everything to your car and load you up. I have been wanting to do that at Kroger. I haven't tried that myself.
But at our Kroger, you got to call ahead 5 days in advance.
Oh, yeah. I'm not that kind of person. I want to go now. I've made the decision. I want to go.
It's not impossible, but yeah. Speaking of Kroger too, I kind of went there today. I wonder if I do have a segue for that. So we'll talk about my Kroger repair in a little bit. But let's jump to the next article here.
All right, Las Vegas mayor shocks Anderson Cooper in jaw-dropping marathon of an interview.
Okay, so we've all heard about this. You've probably heard the sound bites where apparently Las Vegas's mayor is ready to kill everyone. She actually said, "Let Las Vegas be the control group for letting everything go wild. Let's just get right back to where we were." And I think everybody in Las Vegas woke up and were like, I don't know if they had a strong opinion of their mayor before, but she's going to go down in flames.
I don't know.
If my mayor said, I'm going to sacrifice the whole damn city, I'd be like, screw you, buddy.
I would love to know, though. They must have. I'm hopeful they do a survey on that to see what the prevailing feeling is, because it's it is a place that lives or dies based on if tourists are showing up.
And so I don't know what it is for Las Vegas proper, but they did do a poll on it over the weekend. And in fact, it is likely why Trump started to throw the governor of Georgia on the bus yesterday.
I wondered about that. Why was he doing that?
They found out that the number of people that support reopening the economy immediately is 7%. And the number that supports reopening it sooner rather than later is like 20. 80% of everybody thinks wait a lot longer, or wait till the scientists say it's okay.
Wow.
80%. It's not a popular opinion.
I bet Georgia, those governors are like, it would have been helpful to see that poll a little before I stuck my neck out and got it chopped off.
I like how Trump already warmed the bus up to run him over with. But anyway, so this interview is incredibly stupid, and it goes for 16 freaking minutes. So I watched the entire thing so you didn't have to. And the person who submitted this, who I think was the English major on Fark, pointed out that at the end of this interview, Anderson Cooper is so frustrated with this idiot that he does the rare live double face palm. So I watch this thing. I'm like, well, this better be in there because sometimes everybody's kidding around. And we found it. Go ahead and roll it.
All right.
With this, other than social distancing.
Right. So people do that. I mean, I love watching our people here. They're so careful. And even as we have, we work every single day. I have not missed a day. And anybody who is in or comes into the office that needs an appointment or has an issue,
and he's like, I'm
they
done.
all are with their masks on, or we always enforce social distancing.
Double face love.
And that was that.
That was 16 and a half minutes in, so we don't have to watch it.
We cut to the money shot for you guys. We're considerate of your time.
Yeah, if you want to hate watch that interview, it's actually pretty good, but it's about 16 minutes. He actually calls her straight up ignorant around minute 7, and I'm amazed that she stayed on as long as she did. I think they just kept rolling because it's like, she's not going to log off. I just called her ignorant. She's still going.
I think the mayor before her, I think I remember seeing him, and was a character. But as you can imagine, Las Vegas has character mayors. It's very interesting. I'm sure you get in if you're friends with the right person. But that's a good find. So we've got another story here, a special report. Everything's a special report. Former Labradoodle breeder was tapped to lead U.S. pandemic task force.
So this is the perfect Fark story. And, of course, this thing rolled in late yesterday right after we got done, so I had to save it for today. But basically, this is real. You know how Trump has this penchant for just hiring whoever he happens to be standing next to do things?
Yeah.
Like he asked his pilot to be head of the FAA, and I think one of his doctors is the Surgeon General. Et cetera, et cetera. So apparently, I don't know that this was a direct hire or not, but the guy who was overseeing where is that here? Azar is not him. Was overseeing was the human, what is it? HHS, what is that? Human Health
Alex
Services?
Azar, a 52-year-old lawyer and former drug industry executive.
Yeah, he's a lobbyist, basically. But it's not this guy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. This guy hired a guy, though, basically. So it says Azar tapped a trusted aide with minimal public health experience to lead the agency's day-to-day response to COVID. This is in January. The aide, Brian Harrison, joined the department after running a dog breeding business for 6 years.
Is that the only thing he did?
I don't know.
Because my hope is I was a chemical engineer, and in my spare time, I'm a real fan.
Dogs.
I mean, I've got Labradoodle. It's this is my favorite thing to do. But you're so right. I have a friend in the sign industry, and Trump Jr., back when he was running, offered this guy transportation secretary.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Because he knows about signs on the side of the road.
Oh, okay. That's totally qualified. Yeah, apparently the Reuters article goes on to say that 5 sources, and I like how they said 5 because apparently it's like we checked this over and over again to make sure, said officials in the White House derisively referred to him as the dog breeder.
So is he still in there and doing this?
Let's see. I don't think so.
I don't know. So he made $225 off of his dog breeding operation, which sounds great. Man, I don't know. Good. Maybe this is the guy for the job. Who knows?
If you can pull that off, it's great. $225,000.
There you go. 2020 gathering of the Chuggalos canceled due to COVID-19. Which so I'm guessing they don't practice social distancing on average.
On average, probably not. But what I like about it is this means that the same people that can't figure out how magnets work are smarter than our entire government. Which I kind of like. I kind of like it. They're like, we're not going to risk the life of even one juggalo by gathering during these troubling times, said the insane clown posse. Meanwhile, Governor of Georgia, woo, let's go, open it all up. Insane clown posse is like, no way, man, that's too crazy.
I would like to go to Burning Man at least once, and I would like to go to a gathering at least once. I feel like how can my life be complete without that?
I feel like the Juggalos is like, it's one of those things that sounds good in theory, like inviting a homeless guy to dinner.
Well, we might
up a hitchhiker.
You're right.
And you do it, and you're like, oh God.
You're right. It may be one of those things that you go in and you're like, 30 minutes and I'm out.
Yeah.
30 minutes and I'm out. But I don't know. Maybe I'd just find out. Maybe I'd come out and I'd be like, it's time for a face tattoo.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We know that they're at least smart enough not to meet up during a pandemic, and so I give them a point for that.
They got
pretty good. Smarter than Georgia's government, so good job, guys.
Florida dermatologist urges people to stop removing their own moles while in quarantine.
So as you can see, people are running out of things to report on this week. And by the way, we've clearly moved into the things flying under the radar that are not important.
That right there is a bloodbath. Removing a mole, you should have a torch lighter to get that thing to stop bleeding.
All I got to say is this. I'm not going to go into the details, but one time I accidentally removed a skin tag, and I'll just say this. I know what happens. Don't do it.
They don't stop bleeding. It's like I remember going to sleep with I put a Band-Aid on over and over, and I was like, woke up the next day, it had soaked through and it was still bleeding. I'm like, how does that bleed? I mean, I've sliced my hand when you're cooking and you see meat on the inside. It doesn't bleed.
Yeah.
What is it with moles? I don't know.
I don't know, but apparently you can't just, I knew because I accidentally did it once. Again, I'm not going into the details, but so apparently enough people have done this to where not only did the hospitals notice, but they mentioned it to the news media.
So funny.
That's great.
You know what? That's the true sign of a reporter, to be able to take a story like this and kick it out with a straight face.
Yeah.
All right. 8 big cats confirmed tested positive for coronavirus. Oh, so it's spread. It was 1 and now it's 8.
So we caught this a couple of weeks ago, and the first 5 tigers came down with the coronavirus, and they got it from one of their keepers apparently. And then what they found out, they didn't know whether or not, they knew one of the keepers was tested positive. And the cats were showing symptoms. In fact, I think yesterday we did the
kitty cats. Yeah, they were actually showing, they were coughing or something, but
they were symptomatic, and so they checked them out. They don't know if they're spreading the virus, but we think they probably are now based on this story, because only 5 cats came down with this originally. Now 8 of them have it, so they've been spreading it to each other in the zoo.
Well,
it's
they're social.
Cool,
yeah, you're doing it.
They're lying on top of each other, doing whatever they do, and so this thing can jump species.
I wonder if they're testing other animals within the zoo, or they're holding off, because that would also be interesting to see. Is this just something that passes around the mammals, and it affects somebody like a cat, but the monkey is just hanging just fine? I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Well, they have found it in dogs' noses, but I feel like dogs are sticking their noses everywhere.
The things that you could grow on a petri dish from a dog's nose.
There's literally everything in there, so I don't know that counts. But so this thing does jump species, and it does bother cats. It hasn't killed any yet.
Yeah.
But that's pretty wild.
Denver woman's phone ringing off the hook due to coronavirus confusion. Oh, did somebody put her phone number out or something?
No, this is actually pretty easy. This is a bad time for your phone number to be one off of the unemployment line in Colorado. So they didn't publish it wrong. It's just one number off, and people are dumb.
Oh my gosh, that also sad. Like because she had the number before, so it must have been like very rare to get calls, and now it's just there's this onslaught, and the numbers came. Well, that's
and they didn't even print it wrong. It's just people are dyslexic or something.
It just sucks to be you. There you go.
So well.
Bike shop sales booming. Really?
Yeah. So we've had this running conversation, and maybe folks in the comments could toss out a couple more things too about weird things that have completely sold out. Has become the topic of my Zoom drinking sessions. For example, sidewalk chalk. You cannot find sidewalk chalk. Now, if you don't have kids, you don't know this. But so I was at the store today. And so we had been laughing about the fact that in my previous trips to the store, the only things that they were out of was toilet paper and Arby's fries. Today they did have Arby's fries, so I bought some because kids like them.
You're making me want them. I have not wanted to buy them, but ever since you've started talking about this, I'm like, I got to get me some Arby's fries.
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, just go to Arby's. Like, I mean, don't worry about Kroger. It's like Arby's is selling them. They didn't close. But then I guess you have to buy Arby's, and that's a whole other. Yeah, but anyway, so we were talking about other things that have sold out today at the store. They were out of flour completely, and then this actually cracked me up. So about 2 weeks ago or so, Disney released its recipe for Dole Whips, which everybody really likes at Disney World. I had one this summer. They're all right.
Wait, I didn't know this.
They released it online, and it's pretty much what you think. It has 3 ingredients in it. It's ice cream.
Okay.
Figured. Yeah. Frozen pineapple.
Okay.
And pineapple juice. Yeah.
Not too magical. Shocking, right? I'm guessing you can put some coconut rum in that. I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing for damn sure. Yeah, you can also, Disney does let you bring drinks into the park, and I feel like that's a concession that they made to the dads in the 1950s and 60s who were bringing flasks in and stuff.
Wait, I didn't know that. Really? You can?
Yeah, you totally can. You can bring food in. We did that because like the food used to be good like years and years ago, but the last time I went, I was like,
bring your own.
But then also, I'd also bring a thermos of wine in because you gotta stand in line for a while,
if you're gonna stand in line.
Yeah. So anyway, so I was like, okay, well, I got the recipe for Dole Whip, so I'm going to make this at home. They were sold completely out of frozen pineapple. Go figure.
Yeah, that's not what I would have thought.
No, that's got to be why. Because I mean, why the hell else would we run a frozen pineapple? But here's the thing: I solved this problem. They were not sold out of actual pineapple, so I bought a couple. Came home, sliced them open, cut them into chunks, and threw them in the freezer because the recipe calls for frozen pineapple, and that's how you make frozen pineapple.
Man,
so I'll be having Dole Whips later.
You went to the source. Have you been to Hawaii and the Dole plantation there?
It's been a while. Yeah, I went to the Big Island one time.
Yeah, so they have the Dole plantation, and they have, maybe it's the same thing, but they have an ice cream machine that you pop it out, and it has that in it. It is so good. That is a winner.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make some of that.
So bikes are booming. Did we already talk about that? Bikes are booming.
Yeah, so I had heard this actually sort of tangentially, which is good because one of my favorite bike shops in Lexington was struggling apparently before, as they all were, because people were mostly buying them online. Well, so, and I've noticed this too, because like if I go sit out in front of my house, I mean, it just stopped raining, but I bet anything that there are always like just hordes of teenagers out there riding bikes around, like more than cars.
Right.
And apparently bike shops have sold out of bikes to the point where on my local cycling club page, which I only pay scarce attention to because they've canceled everything. There's actually, I've never seen this before. There's a guy who's willing to buy any bikes.
Wow.
And this is weird because normally you can't give these things away.
Yeah, that I guess that's good. It's introducing. It's probably a convergence of coming into spring, being locked into the houses for a period of time, and then being like, well, what can I do that is an activity that is on my own for the most part? Or at least you stay separated. Yeah, it is. Yeah. You've loved it.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great. I did 30 miles yesterday just because I needed to get out of the house. So it worked out pretty well. It was a little windy, but it worked out. But yeah, and also that's the other thing too, is on my back roads, I'm seeing I'm running into all kinds of people out there. And I'm also seeing this, I think I've told you this before, the same people driving around and around out there still. And something I noticed recently, people with Jeeps or convertibles with their dog. They're taking their dogs for a ride.
That sounds good, man.
The dogs are loving it. They're like, yeah,
it's party
the greatest
time.
thing ever. Oh my God.
That's yeah. If you have a Jeep, that seems like you have to do that.
Yeah,
got to get on that.
It's pretty cool.
Ooh, Tom Brady wandered into a stranger's home shortly after moving to Florida. Now, I saw the headline. I did not hear the details on this story.
Yeah, so Tom Brady showed up in the news earlier this week because he was in a park, a public park. He got busted, and it sort of went a little. The story went farther than it should have because somebody misspelled the word "cited."
Yeah. Oh,
the original
you know what?
report was that he was cited in a park, not cited in a park.
Natalie brought that up last night because she's like, oh, she had heard and she brought some sports news to bed. She's like, hey, did you hear about this? And I'm like, well, Drew informed me that it was a misquote.
Yeah, they just saw him and they said, Tom Brady, what are you doing, man? And he said, I'm Tom Brady. Or, that's how I like to think of it. Well, so Tom Brady, I don't know, man. We keep joking about how dumb Gronkowski is, but I've never heard anybody say Tom was really awesome, smart either.
No.
Tom Brady apparently wandered into somebody's house on April 7th. He was trying to find his offensive coordinator's house. I guess he got the address wrong, but just went right in there.
But to be Tom Brady would be an amazing thing. Like, really, you could do anything that you wanted. You're just so well known, especially coming into Tampa Bay where you are a hero. Yeah. And then what I'm seeing on him is I don't think he was free to have fun while he was in New England.
No, I bet not. Well, New Englanders are very serious about their sports.
Well,
very serious.
And you've got Belichick is that way, and so I think I think you're going to see a lot more of actually who Brady is now that he's down there. That's one of the reasons he wanted to move. But how awesome to have him walk in your house.
Yeah, I know, it was great. The guy totally recognized him too, and he's like, "Oh, it's Tom Brady." He's like, "I'm sorry, my bad." And he walks out. I would have been like, "No."
See, this is what happens when you're a white guy and you walk into the wrong house.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing happens.
Don't be. Yeah. The other way around does not work.
Yeah, that's great.
Chris Helmsworth says his wife doesn't want Thor hammers in the house.
Yeah, so this is an interesting sort of article. I talked about it in my book years ago, where it was basically the offhanded celebrity comment becomes a headline in an article. So he was on Kimmel last night, and I don't know if they got the video or not. It doesn't matter.
They do have video here, yeah.
I don't know where the hell it is.
This is the original hammer from Thor 1.
Chris Hemsworth may play the god of thunder and lightning, but he's making it clear.
Yeah, so he said that. He's got the hammer. There he is. He looks great. Looks fantastic.
Sure he does.
Man, that's a good-looking man. Yeah, they're not going to say much about this. So the hammer, the hammer of Thor.
His wife's tired of it. She's over it. She's like, this Marvel stuff, whatever. I guess she wants him to be a serious actor or something. I'm totally making that up. But yeah, she won't let him keep the hammer in the house. And he says whenever he gets it out, she starts moving it around, like hiding it behind stuff. And so it's a good time over there at the Hemsworth household with the Thor's hammer activity.
Well, if that was you, if you were known for being in a movie and that was your weapon, wouldn't you use that all the time at home? Like,
all the time.
I would crack nuts. I would, even though the ice maker would work, I would put ice in a bag and hammer it with the hammer. What else could I do? I would bash so many things.
Yeah, just hit everything.
Natalie would be totally ticked off and tired of it. Yeah, it would get old the first day. She would keep doing it.
But funny. It would still be funny.
But funny. Speaking of funny, I don't know if this is funny. Total Fark. We got Quran Times. What? The Quran Tunes. I read wrong. The Quran Tunes. What?
Oh, there you go. Quarantunes.
Oh, my God.
So this is a Method Man doing the song Method Man by the Wu-Tang Clan with a speak and spell and a trombone in his bathroom.
Did you have a speak and spell?
And go about 30 seconds into it.
Did you have a speak and spell?
I did.
Me too. Love that.
We used to try to make it say ass.
Well, yeah.
What you do. Go about 30 seconds in and just fire it up.
All right. There he goes. Or even a little further.
That's the beginning.
Hey, you! Get off my cloud! You don't know me and you don't know my style! Who be getting flam as they come to a jam? Here I am.
I love the accent.
That is a strong accent when you can hear it in singing.
He's clearly losing his mind in quarantine. I mean, look at this.
Sam, I am, and I do not eat green eggs and ham. Style will hit you. Where's the goddamn? Will you be like?
Looks like he's having a good time though.
Absolutely. His wife is also pissed off at him.
Yeah.
Are you done with the bathroom yet?
Yeah. What are you doing in there? Why is there a trombone in the shower?
I love that. Also, the speak and spell. That was such a good memory. You had speak and read, speak and math, speak and spell. Speak and math was gray. Speak and read was yellow. Was there another speak?
There might. I don't know. I didn't hear it. Put it back on real quick for this so we hear the trombone action there.
Oh, he's going into a sound booth.
Anyway.
Wait, did I miss the trombone? Dang it.
It was a little early. He sampled it and then he There it is.
That was good. That was good. That was nice. I like that.
He's losing it. This man needs to get out of quarantine as soon as possible. That's great. But that is the Method Man doing the song Method Man. So
I love it. That was great.
Works.
That was a good time.
Yeah, good for him.
Awesome. And in our final story,
I don't want to overhype this too much. Just play the video. You'll read the headline and play the video.
Officers struggled to capture runaway piggy for 45 minutes. You know they had to throw in Piggy there. Yeah. His pig isn't as cute. I'm not going to click on pig, but I will click on Piggy for sure. Yes.
How will the weather affect my life?
I don't know. How will it?
I don't know. How will the weather affect my life? I'd never thought about that. Well, that's a good point. Damn. These guys are. I'm watching the news.
They don't have new commercials. Mike Harvey's talking about the snow. Unless we're in, well, Pittsburgh. I don't know. Maybe it's still prevalent.
Yeah.
Squiggle. Get him.
This is breathing hard.
I love that it's a body cam.
That's a big pig, too. I don't think that's going to fit in your can.
No, it could bite, but...
It could bite?
But whatever, we're going to keep doing this anyway.
We're not doing anything else.
I don't know what he's doing with the red ribbon.
Yeah, does he have a string? Or he's got a dog leash?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Not good if you've just been running around the backyard and you're...
Listen to how tired he is.
Oh, it's a standoff. It's a standoff. It's a standoff.
Here we go. Get him!
You know how this movie ends? One of them just pulls out the gun and ends it.
So close.
He didn't want to touch it.
Yeah, they're laughing. Right through the legs. It's a nutmeg.
Well, now what do you do?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, now what?
I mean...
Okay. It seemed like a good idea when we came up with it.
So true. Well, that was enjoyable. That was enjoyable.
That was great. Yeah, so there you go. I couldn't find anything really cute today, but that would crack me up.
No, that counts as cute. That counts as cute.
Good. It was great. And then they ate it. No, I don't know what happened actually. Yes. I don't even know where they didn't say where the pig came from or what the deal was.
Well, that was definitely a potbelly pig, so more of a pet.
Yeah, those bastards can run apparently. That's pretty good.
I love pigs. I would totally have pigs.
Yeah.
I oddly like the smell of pigs too.
Yeah.
I also like the smell of dairy farms.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I know. I don't know what it is. I drive by a dairy farm. The windows are coming down.
Yeah.
It's memories for me.
Are you smelling like cheese and milk or?
No, it's the turds.
Really? It's
the cow manure. It is that smell. Let's see. King of Kurtopia. See you in the game world, Drew and Dallin. Yes. D&D.
Indeed.
Yeah, you still D&Ding it up, or the kids and Heather?
I've been trying to, but every time I think I'm gonna catch a break on this, because unlike most people, this has actually been like triple work for me during the quarantine because stupid ass
triple work and a third of the pay.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I'm going to run them on a. They've been playing D&D for the last 5 years, and I played when I was in high school and college, but. Yeah, I haven't been playing with them because it's not the style I like. But I'm going to run them on a campaign, I think, at some point. They just
my gosh. Yeah. Sorry, King of Kurtopia. Drew and Dallin, D&D, sigh. Yes. Yeah, I'm a little slow. I'm a lot slow. You're going to see that.
I'm going to be a lot slower here in a few minutes. I'm heading upstairs to try to catch up with Heather on the gin drinking.
Me at full brain capacity is Drew 2 a.m. 2 a.m. on Christmas Eve.
There you go. Asleep.
Probably that. So... We've got so a couple of things we've got coming up. Of course, you've got the draft tonight, so you should be watching that.
We gotta go watch that.
Then you've got tomorrow. We're going to be doing Pulgasari, which is the North Korean movie. I'm just saying this. I'm going to make a prediction. I bet we get some news about Kim Jong-un tomorrow.
We're due
on our Pulgasari Day. I think it'll happen. It'll be a convergence. But we're going to be doing that one. It'll be fun. If you want to see something and hear some insights into the movie and North Korean culture, I don't do many things, but I am an aficionado of North Korea. So we'll be doing that.
And that's something.
Yep, it is something. It's the only something I have going on.
It's totally worth checking out. I've been kind of hyping it to people because like there's some interesting backstory to how this movie got made and what's going on in it. It's more fascinating than just the movie, which is kind of a Godzilla ripoff, right?
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. But it's interesting because they give their monster has a purpose. Or motives and all of that. Whereas Godzilla, I don't know that I've ever seen motives.
Yeah,
other than
stomping on stuff.
Let me crush things and all that. So it more speaks to in North Korea, they can't get it out. They love to have crying over drama. They love to throw in a political message. They don't just have fun. They don't just entertain.
That's too bad. But we can have fun watching this movie, however.
Absolutely. So we'll be doing that. We'll be doing that. Hope you all
I'll be drinking the whole time. God knows what'll happen then. Probably nothing. But I'm going to be drinking the whole time. I can get through 2 bottles of wine in 2 hours easy.
So we'll have a good time. We could even bring in a guest if we want. I don't know. Maybe that's too much work. We'll see.
I don't know. I could find out and see if anybody wants to watch. I'll ask my friends and see if anybody knows anything about this.
Yep. So we'll be doing that. Oh, I should come up with I need to come up with a special screen for this one.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll unveil that. All right, everyone. Yes, movie will be on Twitch. Yes, we'll be doing it there. That's where you'll find it. Twitch.tv/Drew Curtis is where you'll find it.
And we're gonna cross broadcast it on Facebook. But
until
last time we put 1 minute and 4 seconds of a Queen music video on, and they stomped us flat with some kind of a cease and desist. They said in all 259 countries, and I'm like, there's not 259 countries.
Yeah, well, that one has boobies. And should have known. I was actually surprised that was in there. So
it wasn't the boobies. We actually got it was
the music
property complaint. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like, we own that. We don't want anybody to see our awesome stuff. Keep it to yourself. Well, all right, fine.
Yeah, that's true. You got to go with awesome music like this, which I've licensed. So there you go.
Luckily, I don't think anybody's protecting North Korea's intellectual property. And I think, in fact, this is the only piece of North Korean intellectual property that exists on the planet, because they haven't come up with literally anything else.
Really haven't done too much. They've they're not creating a lot of tech there. Not a lot going on. But
pushing rocks around. That's
what's interesting about North Korea is that after the war, North Korea was actually the country that was excelling. If you were looking at a graph of innovation, of output, all of that, North Korea was the one, and South Korea really suffered, and then they just got their butts whooped.
Well, I think they fought most of the war in South Korea, which that's usually
that's true
industrially.
Yeah, that's true. Plus, back then you weren't looking at such a tech divide. Now it's like you're talking with primates in the sense that tech wise.
Yeah, it's still the Bronze Age there, basically.
That's a better way of saying it. So, all right, guys, we shall see y'all tomorrow.
All righty,
bye.
Take care, everyone.